have with Kathy is she's business savvy, but sometimes maybe lost touch or didn't read the room perhaps well. The thing I was frustrated with her, for example, about was she too often wants to defer credit to all the rookies and all that. I'm like, no, at the All-Star game, she laid out these list of accomplishments and cited several of them directly because of the Fever and Caitlin. So when I got the mic, I asked her, hey, you just mentioned, I forget what the numbers were, but 18 of 21 national TV games were Fever. What has Caitlin meant to the league, and how much do you hope to build upon that growth? And she goes, Caitlin's great, but so is Angel, and this rookie class is fantastic. I don't need that. I do not need your deference to something. I asked a specific question, and I think too many people, Kathy's not alone here. I think too many people in the league were afraid to.
The thing with Kathy is that she's smart when it comes to business, but sometimes she seems out of touch or misses the mood in the room. One thing that frustrated me, for instance, is how often she downplays Caitlin Clark's impact. She tends to give credit to all the rookies instead of highlighting what Caitlin specifically brings to the table. At the All-Star game, Kathy listed off a bunch of big accomplishments and tied several of them directly to the Indiana Fever and Caitlin. So when I got the MIC, I followed up. I said something like,
Like she just broke records that were set by rookies. She broke records that were set by veterans in this league when they were double digits into their playing career. Caitlin Clark broke those records. For me, the individual performances of Caitlin were phenomenal. They were incredible. But my favorite part about her rookie season was how her team started to gel around her and how her chemistry with her teammates grew more and more and more with every game. Her play was outstanding, but how she elevated her teammates was also so fun to watch. Hats off to Caitlin. Should have been unanimous, but I'm just...
21 nationally televised games are Fever games. What does Caitlin mean to the league, and how do you plan to build on that momentum? But instead of answering directly, she said, Caitlin's great, but so is Angel and this whole rookie.
If you're a college player and you're a great college player, like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP of the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid.
And honestly, that's not what I was asking. I asked a specific question about Caitlin, and I think Kathy, like others in the league, was hesitant to give Caitlin the full credit she deserves. Even ESPN seemed to tiptoe around it. They showed her highlights, talked about her.
You gotta understand that the Connecticut Sun have been a top 3, if not the number 1 defensive team in the WNBA consistently 4 out of the last 5 seasons. Now, mind you, this was also the game that Caitlin Clark opened the season with. Dejanay Carrington is in the running for Defensive Player of the Year as a guard position. And she didn't even start with the primary assignment. It was DeWanna Bonner with that tremendous length. Stephanie White and those guys cooked up a scheme that was designed to cut the Fever off at their head, and their head is Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin has a track record of when she has low-scoring games, which we haven't seen many of, she bounces back with plus 25-point performances.
Right.
But they never really said it out loud. That finally changed this week. In a long overdue moment, ESPN came right out and said what fans have known for months: Caitlin Clark is the most dominant force in women's basketball right now. She hasn't just broken rookie records, she's shattered ones held by veterans deep into their careers. Her performances have been nothing short of amazing. And while the stats are incredible, my favorite part is just watching how she plays the game. What stood out during Caitlin Clark's rookie season wasn't just her individual.
And the game didn't need saving. I don't know who came up with Caitlin was a savior. That's not true. What the game needed was a disruption in the economic marketplace, and that's what we're seeing here, and that's why it's been so fun.
Around her. With every game, you could see the chemistry between her and her teammates grow stronger. Her skills were top-notch, but watching her lift up the players around her made it even more exciting. Honestly, she deserved unanimous recognition. It's a shame she didn't get it. And this wasn't something ESPN quietly slipped in during a break. No, this was front and center. Analysts like Andrea Carter.
When you talk about watching a team grow, and you talk about gaining that chemistry that you want for any of your teams to have, and when you've had an opportunity to play them and then have an opportunity to watch them play, you see that they're really gelling well together, playing extremely well together. And Caitlin is the head of that snake, and she has that team running and utilizing every bit of everybody's gift. So they're playing extremely good basketball. So it is about a 40 minutes of total focus and execution for us against this team.
Most off limits on that network. Now, to be fair, there was a lot of noise when Caitlin made the jump from college. Some fans hyped her up so much that it came across as disrespectful to WNBA veterans, acting like she'd dominate the league overnight. At one point, people were even betting she'd win league MVP as a rookie. That kind of talk.
What you saw.
Look, this was a Caitlin Clark masterclass, and I feel like she's Mozart, and her teammates were the perfect symphony. If you think about what she produced, 71% of Iowa's points. Now, a lot of people will see those 41 points, the 9 threes, but it was the 12 assists for me.
Lack of respect and understanding of how tough the WNBA is. But here's the thing, it's no longer about potential or she's just a rookie. That narrative is over. ESPN, a network that usually centers the NBA and NFL, is finally giving Caitlin her rightful place in the spotlight. Let's not forget, she kicked off her season against the
Off from there, the ratings, record ratings we all know about, not only for the college women's game. By the way, championship game, 4 million more than the men's championship game.
Something you never would have expected.
Unreal. And record ratings for the WNBA, culminating in an incredible finals, which was finally won, by the way, by the New York Liberty. We have expansion in the WNBA, expansion in the NWSL. We have women's hockey.